Lehman Brothers is going bankrupt, and financial markets from Asia to Europe are doing their utmost to prevent Monday from turning from dark to black. Employees of America's fourth largest investment bank saw the writing on the wall late Sunday after talks to pull them back from the abyss collapsed.
Lehman Brothers, founded in 1815 by Henry Lehman and his brothers, began as a humble dry goods store in Montgomery, Alabama. As the U.S. economy grew, so did Lehman, transitioning into commodity trading, especially cotton, and helping to shape American capital markets. Over the next century, the firm expanded globally, dominating equity and fixed income trading, investment banking, asset management, and especially real estate financing. During the early 2000s housing boom, Lehman aggressively invested in mortgage-backed securities, fueling its profit but also its exposure to risk. When the housing market collapsed in 2007, Lehman was overwhelmed by toxic assets and mounting debt. Investor trust evaporated and bailout efforts failed. On September 15, 2008, Lehman Brothers declared bankruptcy, the largest in U.S. history.
Auditor liability occurs when auditors fail to perform their duties properly, such as through negligence, ignoring red flags, or being involved in fraud, which can lead to lawsuits and penalties. High audit quality depends on three key factors: independence to avoid bias, professional skepticism to question unusual transactions, and strict compliance with regulations to ensure reliable results. Lehman Brothers used a deceptive accounting method called Repo 105 to hide up to $50 billion in debt, falsely improving their financial appearance. Their auditor failed to challenge this practice, and the regulators missed the warning sign, which led to investor deception and worsened the global financial crisis. This case shows why ethical, independent, and vigilant auditing is essential to protect financial systems worldwide.
Impact of audit quality on Lehman Brothers financial statement. Ernst & Young was the independent auditor for Lehman Brothers. One of the most important responsibilities was to evaluate the company's financial record with objectivity and integrity, but they failed to fully investigate Lehman's use of Repo 105 transaction. This important mistake enabled the force accounting practice to continue uninterrupted. However, billions of dollars in assets were temporarily removed from Lehman Brothers' balance sheet. Through this Repo 105 transaction, Lehman offloaded around $50 million in toxic assets. Auditor exposure to liability. Ernst & Young was sued for helping Lehman hid the truth. They approved false financial report. The company was charged with fraud. They paid $10 million to the state and $99 million to investors. As Lehman auditor, Ernst & Young missed the use of Repo 150. This deal hit billion in debt. Ernst & Young said there no issue. The case now made people question if big audit can be trusted.
The collapse of Lehman Brothers in 2008 was not just a financial failure. It exposed deep cracks in auditing, regulation, and ethics. At the heart of this collapse was Ernst & Young, Lehman's external auditors, who allowed the firm to hide nearly $50 billion in debt using a deceptive accounting trick called Repo 105. These transactions were discussed as sale only to be reversed days later, that misleading investors, regulators, and the public. These were serious questions about auditor independence and the loss of professional skepticism. Even after the annual scandal and stricter regulation like Sarbanes-Oxley, Lehman's downfall proved that the rules alone can guarantee integrity. Ethics, judgment, and accountability matter just as much as compliance.
The collapse of Lehman Brothers exposed major gaps in auditing and regulation, especially with transactions like Repo 105. To prevent these audit practices should focus on the real economic impact of transactions, not just legal form, while thorougghly evaluating off-balance sheet activities. Auditor independence is crucial. Regular rotation and limits on non-audit service reduce conflicts of interest. Forensic accounting, data analytics, and AI can enhance fraud detection. Clearer engagement letters and strict documentation improve transparency and accountability. Regulatory measures like tighter control on off-balance sheet transaction, real-time reporting, and stronger SEC authority are essential. Global audit standardization and better whistleblower protection will further safeguard financial integrity. These steps can restore trust in financial markets and prevent another crisis like Lehman Brothers.